Hi, this is Beto Paredes from Marketplace Masters, and I have the pleasure today of speaking with Bill Neelan. I've been really looking forward to this conversation, and mainly because of the time of year that we have. I think he's going to have some great information for you guys about that. And TaxMax is the name of the company that he owns and operates, which I've had some good conversations before this, and I can tell you, this is something that you dealers are really going to want to listen close to. Hey, Bill, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. It's good to have you on here. I know you got some exciting stuff to tell everyone today, and you've got a bit of a presentation that I think that everyone's going to be very interested in going through. And if you don't mind, I'd like to learn a little bit more about what you're doing and talk to you a little bit about your business. From there, I'll give you the range. Does that sound okay?
That sounds great.
Okay, awesome. Bill, how long has Tax Refund Services TaxMax been involved in the automotive industry?
I founded the company in 1995, and we're actually starting our 22nd year in business. Basically, we specialize in doing income taxes on behalf of the car dealership's customer. And with our technology, we can route the taxpayer's refund right to the dealership's printer. So we're excited to begin our 22nd year in doing this.
22nd year. Wow, that is a good run. And I can tell you, in the automotive space in general, being there that long, 22 years for your customers, must feel pretty awesome. And I'm sure you've probably got a lot of return customers that have been working with you for a number of years.
Yeah, it's great. And besides being in business for 22 years, we continue to evolve and learn more about the automotive industry as every year goes on.
That is great. Bill, tell me, what does Tax Refund Services TaxMax do?
Well, once again, we give the dealership the ability to estimate a customer's tax refund using their last pay stub, and they can actually move the car in anticipation of the refund that comes in January and February. Once that customer brings the W-2 back into the dealership, we can get the dealership some money within an hour, as well as when the refund is released by the IRS, it will actually go right to the dealership. In the past, dealerships were chasing the customers around for the money. With our technology, we have a role reversal where their customers are actually chasing the dealership down for their money. So it's a good control function. So with the dealership in control of the entire process, it's a win-win for everybody.
Oh, that sounds amazing, especially during that busy time of the year when tax season is really hot and running. During that process, is the dealer pretty much in control? Is this something that they actually do at their dealership?
Yep, it'll actually take place at the dealership. Now keep in mind the dealership is not doing the tax return. They're just entering everything into a format just like a credit application. So that way our system that we designed will actually calculate the refund to the dollar, and then the customer will sign the necessary paperwork. That way when it's forwarded to us by the dealership, we will formally go ahead and prepare the tax return and send it to the IRS.
That is awesome. So what type of dealerships really use TaxMax program?
Dealerships that use our program, we have small mom and pop dealerships all the way up to large buy here, pay here establishments with more than 150 locations. We also service retail establishments. So basically any dealership that sells a car to the consumer can use our program and does use our program. That's
a nice wide variety of customers that you guys can service. What geographical areas do you guys actually service?
We are focused in the United States. We're in every state in the country, and we actually have one Air Force base in Guam that utilizes our program as well. So we can service anyone as far west as Hawaii, as far north as Alaska and Maine, as far south as Texas and Florida. So we're literally everywhere.
Oh, that's great. So you guys are absolutely nationwide. That's good to know. I can tell you something, even for me, for as long as I've been submitting my taxes and dealing with the young people a lot of times in the companies that I've run, taxes tend to scare people. Is it hard to actually utilize your program?
Absolutely not. We actually took that into consideration when we designed our technology. Our program is literally designed for a 15-year-old that knows nothing about taxes. With our, it's a system that I wrote it myself. It's basically what I call a TurboTax, specifically designed for a dealership and dealership customer. So it utilizes the bare minimum information required to actually calculate the tax formula, so to speak. So the dealership will know exactly what the refund is and what money they're working with. It's entered into a format, like once again, it's like a credit application. It's just very fill-in-the-blank situation. So it's super simple. Another thing, too, that makes people feel good is it's a web-based system. So if at any point somebody just freezes or just kind of like, I don't know what I need to do, they can call our customer service, and we can actually go into the system using their user ID and password and see everything that they've entered and either give them the reassurance that they've done a great job, or we can correct something or take over the return. There's literally no reason for people to be scared. It was totally designed for users in the automotive space.
That is great. That is great. So it's always better if you've got a process and something that you obviously took the time to develop as a software engineer. Really, I've done some software engineering myself, and I know that it's best to really customize something around the business that you have. So that is really cool.
It is. You just need to know who your end user is and make sure that it's user compatible for that end user to make sure they're comfortable in doing it.
Here's a big question everyone's always going to have for any value-added service like yours. Is your TaxMax program expensive to the dealership and to the customer?
No, once again, we've kind of kept that in mind. Everything with the dealership industry is usually a monthly fee. We just have an annual fee, and our cheapest package to the dealership is $495, and that's an annual fee, and there's no additional fees to the dealership. We actually have a program where the dealership can actually earn $99 for every deal that they submit to us. So in a weird way, we actually can pay them to use the program. And to the consumer, our fee is about 50% cheaper than H&R Block, Jackson Hewitt, or any other national player in the industry. So we make sure that our program is beneficial to the customer, and it's definitely cost beneficial to the dealership. If anything, it's cash flow positive for the dealership.
Now that is incredible. So in other words, if I'm going to get my return handled and I want to buy a car, I'm going to do better to go to a dealership that's using your service anyways.
Absolutely. It's kind of, one-stop shopping, as well as the dealership is the customer is going to get great value at the dealership, where the dealership can put them in a car right now versus waiting for that return to actually be released by the IRS, as well as they're going to get a great customer. And some dealerships will actually pick up the tax preparation fee on behalf of the customer if they're willing to buy that car at that moment.
That is great. Well, that sounds like a fantastic service. So to kind of just get it broken down a little bit, why do dealerships use your program, the programs that are out there and maybe other opportunities? What differentiates what you guys are doing for them?
Well, once again, we're starting our 22nd year in business, so we're very familiar with the landscape of the automotive industry. So number one, we are probably the market leader in the industry, and we've got 3,000 dealerships that use our program every year, so we give great value and great service to the dealership. But most importantly, we give the dealership control over their customer's tax refund, so they are guaranteed to get paid once that customer walks in with that W-2. So, and we also give the dealerships tools to move the car right now, being it's December or going into January, where they can actually schedule payments in their DMS system and actually move the car before that actual tax return is released by the IRS.
Obviously, we have a very critical time of year coming up for, I would say, a lot of people that are getting their returns. We're getting close to the season. So how important is tax season for the car dealership industry?
For some of our dealers, our program will represent up to 65% to 70% of their annual business, being that we have programs where we can move the car all 12 months of the year based on the tax return. And once again, that's contingent upon whatever DMS they use. We also have programs where they can start moving cars in October, as well as programs where they can start utilizing tax season when the W-2 arrives in January. So it's just important to the automotive industry because it's the one time of year where the buy here, pay here customers will receive up to 35 to 40% of their annual income in one check, and that would be their tax refund check.
Yeah, that's significant. I heard you say something just now, too, that I'd like to kind of bring out a little bit and ask a little bit more about. You said that in October, they can actually start utilizing this service to start working with tax refunds? Yeah,
we have our fourth quarter program where basically using our technology, the dealership can estimate what the customer's tax refund is going to be utilizing their last pay stub, and they can actually schedule a special tax season payment tapping part of their tax refund, expecting to collect it when that W-2 arrives in January and February. With our statistics, 90% of the customers will come back with their W-2 and make that special payment. So in the current environment, dealerships are extending terms out by 6 to 8 months. Utilizing our program, our dealers are extending terms only 0 to 1 month. So it's a good way to get a nice large principal payment added to the contract. It A, benefits the dealership's cash flow, but two, it really benefits the customer because now they have more equity in the car and are more likely to make that last payment.
And that is an obvious advantage for the dealers that are using your service. So what I want to do right now is give you the floor for a minute because I know you brought a presentation. Everyone, I've been trying to not talk about a lot of the things in this presentation. We've had a conversation before we got on the conference here that I'm just excited about. I think you'll be excited about too as an automotive dealer. You know, Bill, I want to turn the time over to you and just go ahead and let you run your presentation. And thank you so much for being here with us.
Well, perfect. And basically the title of the presentation is Don't Let Tax Season Pass You By. And we do have some breaking news. And the IRS has released, or actually Congress has passed the PATH Act. And what this means is that it is now a law that the IRS cannot release refunds until after February 15th. So that means that IRS will not start processing the returns until after the February 15th. And they actually released a statement on Monday, which I have here in this presentation, stating that the IRS cautions that many affected taxpayers may not have actual access to their refunds until the week of February the 27th. So obviously there's only 28 days in February, so this means that a lot of taxpayers may not have their refunds until either February the 27th or 28th, or possibly the first few days of March. And for dealerships, this is very important because a lot of dealers have already purchased their inventory for tax season or about to purchase their inventory for tax season and expecting to sell them in January. And in reality, they may not see any money until March. This is going to become the new norm. So the end result is that if a dealership's not prepared, the IRS could possibly dump the whole season's tax refund money in one single day. So the question to the dealers listening to this right now is, can you capture a full tax season's worth of sales in one day? And every dealer that I talk to, the answer is no. So if they're used to selling 50 cars in January and 50 cars in February because of tax season money, well, they can't sell 100 cars in one day. It's just not physically possible. They don't have the staff. They don't have the time to do the correct closings. Because of the PATH Act, tax season 2017 can come and go in just one day. So the question that I have to every dealer is, what is your plan? And to be honest, most dealers are not aware of this breaking news. And it's a sad case because there's a lot of dealers that I've already talked to who have purchased their inventory in November, anticipating selling it in January and February, and have no way to do that without developing an actual tax season plan. Does this sound familiar? It's the usual, and usually you hear it in December. Well, now you're going to hear it December, January, and February. How many times do you hear customers come onto your lot and say, look, I want to buy this car, but I'm waiting for my tax refund? And if you don't have a plan, you're going to send these customers off your lot, and you're going to say, well, come back when you get your tax refund. Well, according to Ken Shilson of the NABD, only 17% of these customers that leave your lot will actually come back. So that's why, obviously, you guys, in every other form or fashion, when you have some type of marketing plan, do everything you can to get those customers to buy today with a typical, what's it going to take to get you driving today? And that's because you know that in reality, these customers will not come back. So why send them off your lot? So you need to partner with a tax partner and develop a plan that you can capture these sales right now. So what are you going to do about it is the big question. A lot of dealers say, well, I'm just going to do nothing and ride it out. Well, sadly enough, those dealers could end up being put out of business or hurt substantially. As I mentioned earlier when we talked, we represent up to 65 to 75% of some companies' annual business. So if a dealership loses that opportunity on 65 to 70% of their annual sales, it's going to disappear. Now, there is a solution to this. We offer at TaxMax a $1,200 tax refund advance as early as January the 19th. And so basically when a customer brings their W-2 onto the lot, within an hour, we can qualify a customer with a $1,200 refund advance. Will actually print right in the dealership's printer. And then the cool part is that the remainder of the refund that may be delayed until the beginning of March will still print in the dealership's printer. So once again, it's complete control of the process. And for once, you have the dealer customers actually going to the dealership to get their remainder of the refund. So as I mentioned earlier, that basically you can move the car in anticipation of the refund. When the refund comes in, you take what's due to you, and then you print a second check for the remainder of the refund and hand that to the customer. So another thing that people don't realize is that TurboTax does not offer a refund advance. So we're expecting a huge customer shift away from TurboTax. So that's another big advantage to the dealership. So solution number 2 is basically there's still plenty of time to develop a plan. You can start moving inventory now. You can regain market share, and this is a big one. In the buy here, pay here space, that space has shrunk about 40% according to Ken Shilson with the NABD. So it's important to not let these customers leave the lot knowing that they're not coming back. Develop a plan right now and capture those sales and regain that market share. You can also increase your down payments. I talk to dealers all the time that they're settling for $600 or $700 down. Well, with our tax program, they can take that $600 or $700 down and add another $1,000 special tax season payment on top of that. So then, in effect, they can have a down payment as high as $1,700 or $1,800. You can also use this program for collections. Any past due accounts, especially because of the Christmas holidays, these customers start slow paying you, and they either make partial payments or no payments at all, anticipating getting current with their tax check in January. But once again, the problem is that money's not coming until March. So the refund advance would be a great way to help get your past due customers current. Once again, you can drastically increase your revenues and once again make tax season great again. So basically, what do? So you can get advice now, develop a plan now, start implementing now, and educate your employees now. Customize your sales strategies now and capture 2017 tax refund sales now. You can obviously see the big emphasis on now. It is only December, so there is plenty of time to not miss out on this tax season, especially because of the fact that money may not be coming into your hands until March. So don't wait for January. Don't wait for your competitors to pass you by. I can guarantee you we have over 3,000 dealers using our program. If you're not selling to these customers before their tax refund arrives, the dealership across the street from you or down the street from you is, and these customers will find that dealership and steal your sales. So, but once again, with TaxMax, we can help estimate the customer's tax refund amount before the W-2 forms arrive. We also have a U.S. Treasury hotline where it's an 800 number you can call to guarantee that there's no offsets to the tax return. So you'll know that these refunds are not being garnished for child support or defaulted student loans. So we do give you all the tools to help you be successful with the program. And third, we have an underwriting checklist that was 22 years in development, where we basically found out all of the pitfalls that large dealerships and small dealerships do, all their mistakes they made in utilizing our program. Along with Ken Shilson at the NABD, we designed this underwriting checklist to help dealerships have the greatest success. With this checklist, our statistics show that 90 to 92% of these deals will be paid. And buy here, pay here alone, the default rate is about 27 to 28%. With a tax program, we're showing a default rate of 8 to 10%. So this is great risk. So why would you not do this? And once again, why would you not do it? It's extremely great risk. I mean, in buy here, pay here, you're in the risk business especially. So does this sound familiar? So here's some of the facts. Buy here, pay here customer refunds average about $5,600. Most customers will spend all of their refund in 24 to 48 hours. Most will promise out their refund by December. So this is a critical time that basically your customers right now are already pledging money that they do not have, whether it's Christmas, January and February with the football season and the playoffs, the big screen TV, behind in their rent, being behind in their cell phone. So these customers are already pledging or slowing down their payments for their other obligations. 40% of the refunds we process are over $6,000 and 10% are over $9,000. So once again, if you're not active during tax season without a plan, your customer is going to spend their money elsewhere, and odds are they're going to spend it with your competitor. So basically, having a tax program is a must for you to compete in the buy here, pay here space today. If you're not in buy here, pay here in the retail side, we can still help you with a $1,200 refund or refund advance. It's a great way to beef up that refund so you have more money in your pocket for every deal that you do. Depending upon the DMS system that you use, we can help you make tax season be all 365 days of the year. It could be June, and with our technology, you can estimate what the customer's tax refund is going to be and schedule a special irregular payment in the software and actually capture some of that money, which would, in fact, put the customer with more equity in the car and more cash flow into the dealership's pocket. So more and more tax refunds will play a part in every sale. So at that point, that's the prepared remarks that I have. If anyone has any questions, they can always go to our website. They can call us at our toll-free number, or they can send an email and just reference that you were on this presentation, and I will personally give you a call back and help you in any way that I can.
It was actually very informative. I highly suggest that you guys get a hold of Bill. Do what you can to get involved with him so that you can take advantage of the services that they have. Here's their contact information right here. And Bill, thank you so much for joining us. You have a great rest of your day.
Hey, thank you so much. I appreciate your time.